What's up, buddy? Good to have you on here, man.
It's good to be here, Marvin. We've had quite the busy last couple months trying to get ready for Hammers.
I bet. I can't even imagine, man. That's honestly a great topic to get started. Like, tell us what goes into it for you on your end to get ready for King of the Hammers. A race in general versus King of the Hammers, like that kind of comparison maybe as well. But like, what does it like? What are some of the major cornerstones on your schedule in order to get your team and your car and yourself ready for the big race?
You know what's crazy is that Hammers in itself, a single day race at Hammers, we compare that to a full season of wheeling. So if you were to take your car and truck, SUV, Jeep, whatever you got, and beat the living heck out of it for a full entire year, season, just balls to the wall with it, and then need to replace everything that you've broken, we do that in one day.
Yeah, pretty much. And then pretty much over and over and over again, every single time you pre-run, every single time every single time you take the car out, it starts over, right?
Correct. You know, if this car leaves the shop, I'm actually currently in the garage loading it up tonight to go to Johnson Valley tomorrow. We're shock tuning with Fox Shocks to get ahead of the rush during KOH week when 500 other teams are out in the lake bed and dozens of people want Fox support. We have the luxury being close enough to Johnson Valley to be able to get out there. Fox Shocks is a huge supporter of our program and what we do. The smoother the car rides, the faster you go. And
the smoother on us. Yeah, and the smoother it will be on us. So yeah, I totally get that, man. That's awesome that they offer that kind of service, and obviously suspension tuning, shock tuning is a huge part of the game. And I think you told me once, like everything you feel in the car feels 1,000 times stronger, 1,000 times harder. Like every hit that may hurt us during the race is 1,000 times worse for the car. So suspension tuning is a huge freaking corner point for this.
It is. You know, when you look at a lot of the leaders in the industry, you look at Big B Motorsports and Eric Miller and Jason Shear. You watch their cars dance in the desert. They're dialed in.
Yeah.
That's what we aim for. You know, when you see the suspension traveling up and down and the tires just working, but the body stays flat all the way through the whoops.
Yeah.
That. You got it right.
It was an insane experience last year, like just taking a hot lap with you through the desert and like going like, I don't know, over 100 miles an hour over the lake bed, and it was just smooth. And it felt like the faster you went, the smoother it got. So
yeah,
crazy, really crazy experience. And then having the contrast between gnarly rock canyons, beating the life out of your car, and then, putting it in high range and hauling mail through the desert. That's the trick.
It's incredible. And one of the things that we do, and that I've been doing this, this is probably my 9th Hammers, maybe 8th or 9th.
That's a good thing as well. Like, let us, how long have you been racing Hammers and Ultra 4 in general?
Goodness. I bought my first race car from Jeremy Purick from Rock Crawler, 2015.
Wow.
Had a teach time, and I worked for Poison Spider with Larry McRae, and I was like, Larry, I want to race. And Larry's like, no, you don't. It's too expensive. And I was like, no, I could totally afford it. And he said, whatever you think racing costs, multiply it by 3, and that's roughly what it costs. And Larry was right.
Yeah.
Larry was right. And, I bought a race car from Jeremy. He helped support a lot of our adventures, what we did in the early beginnings. We won the Casey Highlight Midnight Special out in Lucerne. We ended up a couple races in. We raced Hammers. We didn't finish our first year for Hammers of that car. And then I ended up racing Glen Helen for Ultra 4. And I wadded the car up. I yard sailed it over a double. And end over end the car, it sucked.
Oh, bad. And you started in a G platform too. Like you weren't always racing 4400 full on big boy class, full on race chassis, big horsepower motor. Like you started like rock bottom of racing, basically, so to say, with a G platform, and like worked your way up.
Right. I figured I'd started in kind of like that Pro-Am class, get my feet wet for what racing is, understand a little bit more about, what it takes to do it. And so when we wrecked the car, I had no other choice but to rebuild it, because what else do you do?
Yeah.
But rebuild your mistakes.
Right.
And we built the LJ, or we called it the race LJ at the time. 4570 was our number for years, that was passed down from Jeremy Purick. And we raced that for 5, maybe 6 years, literally up until 2022. So, gosh, it had to be more than that. It had to be 7 or 8. This was the first year that car was passed down outside of Proving Grounds Racing. Wow. And what a way to do it, and finishing second place for 4500 class EMC. It was, just a kind of a bittersweet handoff, but it was really good to see us end on a high note with that class.
Right. That was the year that was last year, right? Like, so that was, I got to experience that and see the tears of joy in everybody's faces, like once that car crossed the finish line. It was definitely an emotional moment for you guys. It was awesome. Definitely cool.
It was. And I raced with Poison Spider for a good while. Mark Turner from Daystar Products. He brought me in. I moved to Phoenix and started racing for Daystar. And that's when the 4400 class kind of came about. 2020 during COVID, when everybody was shutting down, and, it was a tough time for, just getting parts and, all sorts of manufacturing. I decided to build a race car. And
we experienced that just with our Jeep stuff and whatnot, and it was absolute nightmare. So I can only imagine, like, when big money and big responsibilities on the line with racing, like what you guys had to go through with that. Wild. And obviously, like, people are asking what classes we're racing. 4400 class, the big boy class in this case. So will you also have a car in the race for the 4500 car class this year, or is that the only class Proving Grounds will be racing in this year?
So this year, Proving Grounds Racing will only be racing the 4400 Unlimited class on February 11th, which is a Saturday. It'll be myself in the 4415 and Joe Gatlin driving 4570, but retrofitted on a new to us chassis, okay. Thanks to Fire Racing and Tom Pendergast.
Cool.
So I don't know if I was allowed to say that, but cat's out of the bag now.
There you go, man. That's awesome. Very, very cool. I can, like, this whole race circus, I'm excited about every aspect of it. Like the road racing experience, which I'm completely new to, but also like experiencing firsthand the whole circus that goes around it to make it happen. So, like you said, like we're racing like basically the day before KOH ends, like the final day or the final big race day of KOH, and then leading up to that, what are we going to run through? We're going to run through like what is it? What all do we have to go through in order to make it to that day?
Before we even get to the lake bed, there is a laundry list of things that we'll go over when you come out in the shop and we're, three knuckles deep in this car, we're wrenching on it. A lot of before you get to the lake bed, the race to get to Hammers is a race and a challenge in itself. We tear this car bare bones down, shocks out, transmission, transfer case, hubs, axle shafts, seats. We go through everything, hardware change, shock bolts, suspension bolts. We go through every FK joint, all the control arms and the steering components, all of those, everything gets replaced. A lot of times when racing Hammers, the $5 part takes you out of the race.
Yeah.
It's not a $5,000 part. It's not, something big and extravagant. It's a bolt backed out and caused a hole in your radiator and you blew a head gasket. It's the small things that creep up on you that you wouldn't even think about. But when you take the car apart, you disassemble it, the components, and you check for fatigue, and you check for stripped bolts or hardware or something loose, cracked, leaks, from fittings, AN fittings. We get all those from Summit Racing and all of our lines. We check for fuel leaks and coolant leaks, power steering, all of those components before it even goes back together, just so that way we're not facing that in the middle of the race at mile marker 122,
right,
when you're holding a power steering line in the air saying, "What'd you do?"
Yeah.
So,
And that yeah, exactly. And then also, like, KOH is you're not allowed to have any outside help. So basically you have your pits, right? Like your proving grounds pits, and I think you are we using BFG pits as well? Is that like a
yep.
And then,
So
but besides that, so if you're not in the pit, like if you're not actively driving into the pit, if you brake 5 miles before the pit or however long before or after the pit, you're walking your butt back to the pit, getting whatever you need in order to fix your car, right?
KOH is man versus machine. It is you and I versus the elements and what car we are in.
Yeah.
There you see countless videos or pictures of drivers running with fuel jugs or a drive shaft or a power steering pump or an alternator, running back and forth from a pit to their car because something happened. And those are the things that we try to avoid, or we try to make sure that the car's outfitted with that. So Tom Woods drive shafts, we have a spare drive shaft on the car that would work for the front or the rear.
Cool.
Spare alternator, spare tensioner, spare idler pulley, spare belt, all of that on the car on a single bracket, to where if there is a problem, we know it, we have it. It's not out of the race thing or at a few hour delay trying to figure out how fit. And those are the things before you even get to the green flag or before you get to the starting line. Just like you're going on a trail rig weekend with your buddies, you want to make sure you got the tools, any spares, or what you believe could be a weak link. That's what you want to bring with you, because there is nothing out there. I don't know, for those that haven't been to KOH that maybe just saw photos, it is the off-road Burning Man.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. I agree. It's off-road Burning Man, and you don't even think you're on this planet anymore. Like, once you're out on the lake bed, especially a couple days in, once it starts filling in and people start showing up, and it doesn't, you would never believe you're still in the United States, especially not in California, from all states. Like, to say that loud and clear, like, it is absolute anarchy out there. Like, it is completely, man versus machine the entire time, and it's just it's breathtaking. It's crazy. It's an absolute, like, it's one of the craziest events that you can experience, especially if you're an automotive enthusiast of some kind. Like,
right. It's if you want to consider it to like road racing. So it is the Daytona 500 of off-road. The single day where 70 to 80,000 people show up in the middle of nowhere in a dry desert lake bed to compete against over 500 teams, to where last year 156 4400 cars like ours competed in Saturday's race for the Unlimited Ultra 4 class.
Yeah.
24 cars finished.
Man, that is wild. That is wild. How many times have you finished this race?
I have finished this race 3 times. I have finished it
out of 9, you said? Out of 9 times you've raced?
Out of 9 times I've raced, I have finished it 3 times.
Wow. That's just crazy. And like, that's the big goal. That's the first goal to achieve, is just to finish within how long is the time limit? 14 hours or something?
So 4,500 class, they start at 8 o'clock and their race ends at 6 o'clock at night.
Okay.
4,400 Unlimited starts at 8 o'clock and it ends at 10 p.m. at night. So you have 14 hours to go roughly 260 miles, depending on the course, which when we talked to Dave earlier this time, when we were on the lake bed during Thanksgiving, Dave said that we have a lot in store for us for this year. It's going to be a lot harder, more challenging.
It always is. It always seems to be. And like every single year I went, the racers, like even after pre-running, they came back and like you just saw their, their hands over their faces, not knowing how they're going to tackle this terrain again and again and again. Like he always picks out trails, new trails nobody's ever really been on, things that weren't previously a trail. And all of a sudden you have, over 100 cars trying to race through it. Like that's just crazy.
Right. So let's see. I'm looking through the chat here. And it says, tell us about the base camp party. So our pit is super easy to find. I have a 44-foot trailer with a large awning that says Proving Grounds Racing. The trailer is white with all the logos, black and yellow Proving Grounds on it. The awning's black and yellow. You can't miss it. We'll have teardrop flags out there, and we'll post a map also like online so others can see exactly where we're at inside of Hammertown. If they want to come, hang out, check out the cars, say hey to you and I. We'll definitely make that available to everybody. Yeah,
good. I was talking about that earlier. I wasn't really sure what your rules are there. Obviously, be respectful, guys, of race day and of, there's certain times and certain days where we will probably not be able to hang out with you, but outside of those, hot times, we'll definitely take our time and say hello to everyone. And I don't know how much stuff I can bring. If I can bring some stickers, I'll bring some stickers. But my focus and my mindset will be 110% towards racing and getting John through the finish line and hopefully even on the podium. Who knows? So
yeah, That's the goal.
That's the goal. We're not racing to participate anymore. Or you're not racing to participate. You've matured out of that stage just to be part of the party.
One of the biggest things, when I sat down with Eric Miller about building a Miller chassis, Eric Miller's won this race over and over again. He knows what it takes. The car has what it takes.
Yeah.
I essentially have Eric's car with my own touches to it, but I know that the car can do it, and it's up to us to, have a good day of racing.
Right.
Connect between co-driver and driver for call-outs, lines in the rocks, lines in the desert.
Yeah.
Smooth passes, and being cool, calm, and collective. The biggest mistakes happen when you're frustrated because we're not making it up an obstacle, or we're trying to pass a vehicle in a sketchy or dangerous spot.
Right.
Passing a vehicle in the desert going 80 miles an hour over whoops and trying to jump lanes.
Not a good idea.
Yeah. Taking a bonus line, box, trying to get around a broken down car, you could flip over. You could be on your side. You could. There's so many things that can happen that in an instant, you're either out of the or you're delayed an hour, 2 hours, a failure on the car.
And that's the thing, for those that don't know, rolling in the rock sections, for example, as long as the car isn't damaged after that, isn't a big deal. It won't take you out of the race. It just costs you, valuable time. That's the big point. So this race is something that I need to really tattoo on my hands or wherever I can see. Is it's not about always taking the gnarliest line or whatever. It's taking the fastest line, making the fastest pass through there while keeping the car alive. Keeping the car alive is the number one priority in all of this. So there are going to be risks that we're going to have to take in order to make it to the front of the pack as much as we can, but we have to evaluate every move we make. So that's going to be a big one for us, and to breaking stuff or eventually rolling or whatever, or flipping or rolling, hopefully not, but flipping may be part of the game. It will just cost us valuable time and recovery. I'm looking forward to I'm going to take a little Factor 55 crash course when I get to the lake bed. I think I'm pretty handy when it comes to vehicle recoveries at this point, but not in race scenario, not in full race gear. Remember guys, we're not out there in shorts and t-shirts and can freely move around. We're in full race gear, Hans device that's locked into our helmet. We're completely stiff. We can't really do much. Everything takes time. It takes time to unbuckle. It takes time to, everything. Your car is set up pretty well when it comes to where's everything located. It's going to be a pretty smooth ride from that aspect. But for me, I'm so glad I am not being thrown in the cold water and like having my first racing experience be in the driver's seat, because I think the thing that will sketch me out the most, or I will not sketch out is the wrong word, but what will be the biggest challenge for me is being so restrained on everything, not being able to look over your shoulder, not being like being completely like you just have to feel your car in the most craziest way. Like you have to feel your tires and your suspension, your wheelbase, your width have to be one. Like, and that's what like what's really mind blowing. And I think you, from all people, proved that in such a crazy way when we did Hell and Back. Like none of the people that were there could believe what you took this car through. And this car is even like obviously during Hell and Back you weren't in full race gear, you weren't in a Hans device, but this car has no. Since it's a race car, it's not made for, looking behind your seat, seeing what your rear quarter panel might look like. You can't do any of that stuff. So you're still very, very limited in that stuff. And you maneuvered that car through some of the gnarliest rock sections that this country has, like, period. I think the Hell and Back that we put you through, like, comes close to the rock sections at KOH that we'll be facing. So, like, but at KOH, you're completely restrained. You're not moving at all.
Well, and you're right. This car is set up. Our transfer case is a 1.5 ratio. We're running an Atlas.
So it's on or off.
Or a 5 or, a 4-1, something of that sort, where I want to be as fast as I possibly can in the rocks. I want to be as fast as I can to where if I'm going from trail to trail in 4-wheel drive, I can hit 60 miles an hour in third gear, 4 low, to get to the next trail versus slowing down to transfer in and out twice, 4 high to 4 low.
Right.
I can save every second, every minute that I'm not doing that makes us faster. And, Hell and Back was a great example. There's so many times where technical wheeling was needed, and this transfer case transmission with a stall of 3,800, RPM, it's hard to crawl some of those obstacles. It's all or nothing.
Right.
We saw that on episode of Hell and Back where 4 guys are leaning against the car because technically crawling through that ravine and making that turn is, it's difficult without being able to, give it all the way through and do that technical wheeling on gas, RPM, brake, all of that. So, Hammers is about as fast as you can.
Yeah.
You think you're going slow in the rocks until you look at the RPMs or the speedometer, and we're going 15, 20 miles an hour through Sledgehammer or through Clawhammer. Or
right.
It's just
stuff that we would take, we would go 3 to 4 miles an hour and we would feel like, this is crazy. And you're like, we're going to do double and triple the speed of that in a race car. So yeah, this will be nuts. Somebody has just said, practice at home in full gear may look silly, but mowing the lawn in full race gear will make you learn how to move and do stuff in full gear. You know what? That might be a good practice right there. Like taking the dog for a walk and mowing the lawn in full race gear. Neighborhood will think I'm nuts, but I would.
One thing that I will have you practice, being new to the co-driver seat, there are a lot of co-driver functions.
Yeah.
First thing first is always safety. I want to make sure that you know how to get out of the car as fast as you possibly can in the event of a fire, a rollover. This race we don't have to deal with water, but Bailey drove into the lake at Crandon.
Yeah.
And he had to stick it out in full race gear, helmet, before his car, sunk into the lake. So being able to, under pressure, under full constraints, helmet, Hans, seatbelts, in and out of the car, that way if there's ever an emergency, you can get out quickly. And not just for a safety aspect, but for also winching. Also, an issue if you need to get out and spot or, throw a rock, things of that nature. So that is something that we will go over because that's super important. Understanding your constraints and being able to get in and out of the car efficiently, as well as getting back in and strapped in in a good timely manner to where we can take off.
Right, absolutely. No, that, and also for peace of mind, like that, absolutely. I want to go through all of that. Tell the people what are some of the responsibilities that and things that we will need to go through prior to the race that I will have to that are on my shoulders during this race, basically.
Marvin, your sole job in that seat is to make sure that I don't suck.
Okay. Good way to put it. Good way to put it.
The coach is just as important as the driver. When I'm focusing driving, I'm looking ahead. I'm looking at whatever obstacle is in my way, and I am listening to what you're telling me that you're seeing on that GPS.
Yeah.
You're telling me in 1,000 feet, we got to turn 3. Turn 3 left, turn 2 left, sweeping right. 1 through 5 call-outs are typical driving style of how tight a turn is. And that gauges how fast or how hot I'm coming in or out of a turn. If it's a hairpin, if it's a 180, those types of things, you blow through a turn. I mean, you could roll over on the burn.
That's exactly right.
It's dangerous not knowing where you're going.
Making sure you know what to expect is, I think, the biggest thing. Like you said, blowing over a berm or having something come up that you didn't see coming, and then you're automatically making mistakes because you're being thrown in a situation you didn't expect. The car is being way too fast for a certain situation. All of a sudden, the suspension is doing its own thing, not doing what it's supposed to, rolling over, whatever, crashing into something, blowing a tire out, whatever. Like, there's so much that can happen in that case. So yeah, learning GPS. I mean, I have a little experience on that with Baja stuff, racing BC or driving BC cars. We never really raced them, but we drove them enough that we understood how to work the GPS, how to talk from car to car, how to call out stuff from driver to co-driver. I have a little bit of experience in that, but not to that extent. So it's definitely something that I will dig into and make sure that I understand all of that right. So that's definitely part of it. So basically learning and understanding the GPS, knowing how to call things out to you in a timely manner that you can prepare for it, and you know what's coming up. Then eventual recoveries, eventual repairs. Those are basically the ground, the basic things that we're going to have to work through, correct?
Well, and the other thing too, the desert's vast.
Yeah.
There's 7 different lanes that you can drive into within the limit of what Ultra 4 King of Hammers says is viable on either side of race course.
Yeah.
And is that slowly those start to deviate and they start to Y out and branch out. And within 30 to 45 seconds, you could veer off course and not even realize it till you're a mile down the road and, oh man, I don't even see the course anymore. How we get off track? Especially
with somebody in front of you, dust coming up, not being able to see, basically just reading off your navigation the entire time because you can't. There's no visibility at a certain point. And King of the Hammers or Johnson Valley is a bomb test ground for the army, right? You encounter craters that have a serious depth to them, something you really something I experienced in my Jeep and it was sketchy. I can't imagine coming up to one of those craters, racing, going 100 miles an hour through the lake bed, not being prepared to, hit something like that. That's some scary stuff.
And the other thing too is I made so many passes following the race course versus following someone in front of me or following the track that I was driving in.
Yeah.
Because the race course was weird, but the track that I was in went a different direction.
Yeah. Scary.
And so that's important to be able to field that, because it's a simple pass just like that where you got clean air again.
Yeah. Or a car broke, being completely dusted out. How many YouTube videos and social media videos have we seen? People hauling mail through the desert, no visibility, and all of a sudden there's a car just stopped in the middle of the racetrack, and then you got to react to that. And those are the situations that I'm that go through my mind the most. The stuff that is completely unexpected and then just make a right call in a blink of a second, on both of our side. So that's just absolutely crazy to me, wild. So people have been asking some more stuff. So what about food and drinks while you're on the racetrack? Yeah, they ain't none. Do you have water, I'm assuming, right? Well, have water supply of some sort?
Oh. I'm a noob at this, and I got to charge my phone. I'm going to grab my charger.
Okay.
Let's go through the comment. Some questions.
Okay, I'll get into that. So like I can probably answer that for you. So like there's no food or water during the we may have a little like Camelback water supply or something to nip on every now and then, but for the most part you're able to to drink whenever you roll into a pit. Somebody throws you a water bottle, you chug it really quick and you're good to go. I'm sure a lot of people of you want to also know like what about bathroom breaks? There are no bathroom breaks. You go when you got to go, and like you have these little catheter things that look like condoms with a tube on them that if you choose to, you can wear. That's pretty uncomfortable, but you do what you got to do. That routes out down by your leg somewhere, and then you just go whenever you need to go. So those are your options in that case. But food, I don't think any of us will be even thinking about food or eating of any kind during race. That's something for after. I don't even think I'll be able to eat before. We'll try to hydrate as good as we can, but that's about it. That's pretty much it. So much to that. Let's see. Getting used to Val is on here asking, getting used to opening the visor fast is really important, especially if you are on a CT hiking up a hill to winch. Foggy visors suck if they don't open. Yeah, I mean that is something that I've experienced in all kinds of motorsports before. Like even if it's go-kart racing, if your visor fogs up, that's the most frustrating thing of this that you can experience. Like your gear has to be on point there, absolutely. And I think we're pretty well taken care of here with Rugged Radius supplying all of that stuff. And that will be definitely one issue we most likely don't have to deal with in that case. What type of beer do you leave in the RV chilling for after the race? Good question. What are we drinking, John? I don't think we'll be drinking too much.
I don't drink.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm going to have to say I'm a sweet tear, but hey, whatever victory drink you want, Marvin, I'll make sure that it's at the finish line for you.
All right, we'll talk about that at some other. Again, none of these things are even crossing my mind right now. None of this is on the list of my priority list right now. Like again, and people were asking about food. Like, how do you like? There's not going to be food. I doubt I'll be able to eat the morning of, and I don't want maybe a quick banana or something. That is it, and then drink during pit stops. Maybe chuck a bottle of water and then keep going. Do we have water supply in the car? Is there like a Camelback or something? No, right? Like I don't.
So I do have Camelbacks for the cars.
Okay.
I also Ultra 4 actually mandates that there's a survival bag, basically like food, water, like snacks or water in case you're stuck out there for hours before your crew can get to you.
Makes sense.
That is something that we'll have in the car. Morning of, usually I eat a banana just to give me something to snack on before coming to end of lap 1, which is at BF Goodrich's pit, at main pit where we refuel. And typically there I'll do like a granola bar, something small, but something enough just to kind of fill me for, being fatigued in the desert going 100 miles, mentally flogged by whoops and
the adrenaline such. Will keep all of that suppressed anyways. I doubt that you'll really be feeling hungry during the race, no matter what. Like the adrenaline will take care of that for you. I don't think that is really something. Driver co-driver communication understanding is priceless. Yes, so again, full rugged radio setup on both of us. We'll be hearing each other at all times, no problem.
Yeah, so our car has rugged radio comms throughout. Communication is one of the leading reasons for winning a race.
Yeah.
What we've seen in years past is that understanding where you are in the race in retrospect to the guy behind you or the guy in front of you. If I know that my crew is telling me my time split from first to second place is 45 seconds and I only got one more lap to catch him in 50 miles or 20 miles, I'm going to push harder because I know I can hit that. I can take that position. Or if I know that next place behind us is 5 minutes past and we're on the last lap, I know that we can take it easy instead of, damaging the car or ruining our position because I know we're safe. We have that buffer behind us.
Right. That's a big one. Absolutely. Like knowing what's going on in front and behind you, and knowing how you can pace your race and save the car eventually, or push harder if you can. Definitely something.
Right.
So. How is it with obviously are you taking advantage of every pit stop that you can, or do you power through pits if you can? Like when okay, fuel mileage, etc. is figured out, I know I got enough fuel to make it past a certain point. Do you risk that, or do you say no? Like pit stop is a pit stop. We say like it's a safe call no matter where we are in the race.
Time is everything. In hammers, what's crazy to hammers is that as long and drawn out as it is, the race is won. The top 5 come in within 10 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
That's how close this 14-hour race is. And so typically pit 1 is at mile marker 17, and then it loops back around and it comes back at mile 60. Main pit is usually around mile 100 or 90 to 100. If the car feels good, there's no vibration or noises, we blow through pit 1. If tires feel good, we blow through pit 1. Unless there's something integrally wrong or we feel that there's something we want to check, I'm blowing through that pit.
Yeah.
We usually calculate the fuel. Granted, I don't know what Dave's going to throw at us, but fuel is mainly done at BF Goodrich and their support at main pit or right at the start-finish line. We'll hit that when we finish lap 1. And when we finish lap 2.
That's what I'm curious about, because every course, like it's not like a passenger car where your fuel mileage. Like the course dictates your fuel mileage. How much rocks, how much elevation change, how much desert, like how fast is it overall? Like you have to. Is that something also you do during pre-run? Kind of understand how much fuel you like where the pits what your fuel mileage is. Like, is that something that, like, I can imagine it's an important factor of the whole race is to understand that as well.
Well, and that's one of the good things, for us, HB Tuners is a huge support for us. Josh West is also a huge supporter in getting this car dialed in. We've had a lot of ups and downs in understanding how this car works and performs, and getting the tune and the programming and the ECU dialed in, that dictates what our fuel mileage is and how much we do save or use. Yeah. We're running 110, and barrels of 110 now are $720 a barrel. King of Hammers will take 5 barrels of fuel.
Yeah.
So just in the race car, not counting travel, not counting anything else, just this race car is going to take 5 barrels of 110 race fuel from VP.
That's crazy.
Gas mileage is everything.
Yeah.
If we don't have to stop for fuel, then we're not going to, because when you're fueling, no one else can touch the car. If you have a problem, you can't have your crew touch the car while they're fueling for safety reasons, and that's through USAC and Ultra 4 guidelines. So,
same at Baja. Like I remember that from Baja being the thing. Like there might be a control arm hanging off, a drive shaft hanging down, whatever. You're not touching that until the car is done fueling. So like that's just all time that gets added onto it. So
yep.
I can see that.
One thing that we did do. We were fueling at BFG last year, and Miles, one of the announcers, was able to give us a quick commentary for how our day was, how our race was. And so we were able to take that time to kind of talk about lap 1 or lap 2 or where we were in the race. So there was a little, plus to that, but, time is everything. I don't know if anyone watched last year's, we made a video. They did a Ford Bronco parade during the race in the hot pits at the start finish line. When we were peeling out of BF Goodrich, we were head to head with a Ford Bronco that had no idea what to do, siren on, wailing, trying to get around them. We finally blew through them, smoked the whole side of the Bronco with rocks and dirt. And
yeah, I mean, who gave him the go for that one? That's crazy. That's wild.
It was pretty wild. It kind of went viral for a little bit. USAC came over to our team and said, we are crediting you time for that interruption. So Dave and USAC, they
That's
They
good.
said that was totally on us. We apologize, and they did give us the time for that. But it just kind of goes to show you can encounter anything on this course.
Absolutely. And I mean, like you said, there's almost close to 100,000 people on there. Like there might always be some idiot driving on race course, like getting lost on the trails, first time out there, all of a sudden, bam, you're on race course. Like that can happen. Like that is the number one thing. If you're out there wheeling recreationally during KOH week, like the one thing to write on your dashboard, stay off race course. Always triple check that you are not anywhere near race course during race days or even qualifying days. Like stay away from that. There's plenty of space out there, but it can happen within a heartbeat and you are on race course, and then you're causing some serious danger for yourself, your vehicle, and the racer in his race, which has a lot of there's a lot of things involved that you're putting on risk in that point. So big one right there. So damn Ford guys. Yeah, I would carry a spare 10 millimeter. Yeah, we're probably gonna be like John has this whole thing figured out. I'll follow his lead on how to stuff my pockets and how to prepare myself on that. So, do you pre-run the rock sections, just the desert sections, and put ice on the rock sections since it's always changing in the race day with possible traffic and broken down vehicles? So, like, do we pre-run the rock sections?
We spend 10 to 11 days on the lake bed because we want to pre-run. We want to win.
Yeah.
There's a lot on this, You said it best, Marvin. Like, I've done this recreationally in the beginnings and got my feet wet and understood how this works. I know I have a winning car. We've won in this car. We've taken home, we were on the box for the East and the North in 2021. Finished first for Montana in 2022. Top 10 at the Red Bull World Cup. We know we have a fast car, and everything we want to do, we want to make sure that we're doing it to the best of our abilities. And when that means pre-running rocks, we'll take panels off the cars and we'll go run the rocks, because what those rocks were during Thanksgiving when we raced or pre-ran those or just shook down the car.
Completely different now.
Is completely different. After it rains, after, festivities of the Johnson Valley Rock Crawlers. I don't know if anyone follows those guys, but man, they have a time out there and the course changes all the time. Every day it's something new. So what you thought Chocolate Thunder was back 6 months ago, 4 months ago when you wheeled it, well, we're qualifying on Chocolate Thunder.
Yeah.
And that's going to drastically, even from the day that we pre-run it to the day that we actually go to qualify.
But you get a little closer idea at least. So it definitely helps to pre-run, even if it's always different and there might be the line that you chose on pre-running day is blocked by a broken down vehicle. It still gives you a better idea of what you're encountering and figuring out optional lines. Okay, if plan A is blocked, if there's a car in the way, we got plan B over here. Like, you still want to do that. And I think walking the trail and driving a trail is day and night difference. Like, you can't really visualize things. Like, you get a close idea, but it's a lot safer to pre-run it either way. And the car is getting torn down before the race either way, I guess. So it's not. It will put on additional work to the team, but John's team is there to win this race. So we're making everything happen. We're pulling every trigger that we can pull in order to get him there. So
in the other too, Marvin, in your seat, while we're pre-running on the physical map itself, you're able to mark dangers, or we use the airplane symbol for blind rises, to where we know that we can go as fast as we can over it, or a danger if we know that it's a hairpin turn.
Okay,
those are the critical things to where we can stay on the gas, or we need to be prepared for a slow down hairpin turn or something of that nature, to where we already see it on the GPS before we get to it and it's too late.
Yeah.
And that running and marking of the course, much like the guys do and you've seen in Baja, that is how you win. That is how you get to the front in the leaderboards of understanding what the course really looks like and what it is. Dave throws the worst rock trails you could possibly think of. I remember finishing last year in the dark, And we were on the stage there, and I said, Dave, I don't know what you were thinking putting King's Veto or whatever you called that course in, but we ran that at night. And when we got there, there was an Ultra 4 car, 4400, that was swallowed up. It lawn darted. It looked like Cadillac Ranch inside, the size of, I don't know, a RAV4, and you couldn't see half the car. And we were there in the dark, and it was just insane. It was the craziest rock trail, and unfortunately, we didn't pre-run it. But if we had, we would have known where the lines were, and it may not have taken as long as it did. We got through it. There was some winching. There was some vernaculars that were called back and forth with co-driver and driver. But, those are the types of things that pre-running, really helps with. And you can tell the drivers that pre-run those rock sections versus the others that don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the good thing is like when you were talking about the markers on the GPS and whatnot, we will be making those markers. It's not like I have to read off some map that somebody else created and now I have to wrap my mind around it. Like during pre-running, we are creating that map, correct? Like, so while we pre-run, I'll be the one essentially setting those markers and discussing those markers with you. Okay, here we're going to do this and this. So like, I'm reading off my own notes. It's not like where somebody's providing us a file and then on race day, okay, like what does that, like I need to try to interpret it, whatever it shows me. So that's an important thing as well. Like we will be making that entire data that our race is going to circle around is made by us at the end of the day. So like I'm reading our own files at the end of the day. So
right. And that's important, in itself of understanding where we're going. And not just that, but the frequency and calling out temperatures and, oil temp, tranny temp, coolant temp, RPM, those types of things of, that's super important. Listening for sounds that's different in the car. Last year,
vibrations, whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
And, there was such a loud banging noise. We had no idea what it was because we couldn't see it with the skid plates. But in tail, that's what it was. And, we had to drive conservatively in the rocks. So whatever was banging that we didn't know didn't rip off the car. Listening for those types of sounds. I remember Joe at pit 1 when we came back for lap 3. Joe was under there trying to figure out what is loose, but we couldn't see it because it was covered by the skid plate.
So what was it? What did it end up being?
It ended up being the 4 bolts in the training mount actually worked their way all the way out of the car, and the transmission and transfer case were talking like a Pac-Man.
Oof. Wild. That's crazy. Yeah. All things absolutely. I mean, again, any bolt you can put you can take a bath in Loctite and put it on there. That race will rattle anything loose.
Anything. It's insane the harmonics that you get, inside of these chassis and what we put them through. And those are the types of things that driver and co-driver, both need to be in sync with the car and in sync with what's going on.
100%.
And not just that. There's the other form, and I will tell you when we start the race, I'm going to say, Marvin, when that green flag drops until the checkered flag, whatever happens in this car and whatever's said in this car,
we'll be
at the end of the day,
yelling and screaming at each other. I am well prepared for that. You will not hurt my feelings during that time. It is on, and we're going to war essentially, man. Like I'm not gonna be offended by whatever is being said in that car. Like that goes unspoken, man. No, there's absolutely no doubt about it. Marvin, will your notes be in German or English, man? My notes will be in English. If I do my notes in German and in a like, it might be easier for me in that moment, but like, no, absolutely not. Then I will misinterpreted whatever I need to tell to John or not find. No, absolutely. All my notes will be in English for sure. There's no that's definitely the thing. Tim, yes, I will be co-racing King of the Hammers. If you're just joining now, yes, I'll be co-racing 4400 class with John and Proving Grounds Racing, for those that are just now tuning in. By the way, also for those that are tuning in, I haven't mentioned that in a while. We're having a giveaway again for people that are donating any kind of amount into the Super Chat. We're giving away a Hallenbeck shirt, the one that I'm wearing. we're giving away a sticker set and Proving Grounds racing gear. What do you have, John? You got a shirt?
I got some swag similar to the shirt that I'm wearing here with the Hellenback jacket. It's cold here, and believe it or not, cold in Phoenix. I got some hero cards, and I got some stickers here that I'll throw into that, Marvin.
Awesome.
For the raffle.
Very cool. And we're going to finish it off with a BFG Flex Rocks and Rollovers Jeepster Big Jeep Face poster, signed or not signed, whatever you prefer, your call at the end. So to that, all that goes to whoever donates whatever amount into the super chat, just to let you guys know. And I'll pick a winner during the live chat, at the end of the live chat, before we're all said and done. I'll figure out whoever wins the swag pack, and I'll ship it out immediately. Cool. Good. Let me see if what else we got on here. Do you want to show people the car a little bit? Like, do you think we can make that happen? And while you show the car, give us some stats. Like, let me know what motor you're running, axles, tires, like what wheelbase the car has. Like, just kind of a pointer on what we got. Or I don't know if it's like, I don't want to risk the live stream too much. So if you think this, like, we can also just keep it that way, and you just give us a quick rundown on the vehicle. Like, what's the weapon of choice here?
Let's see if I can do this here. I'm not as technically savvy as you are, Marvin. So behind me, I'll try to see if I got this thing plugged in so we don't die, but this is our 4400 Miller Motorsports Pro chassis. This was built ground up from nothing to what you see here. We built this in 2020 on our own fixture tables that we bought material for. We CAD designed them. We welded them together in Joe's shop, and this was constructed on top of that with Miller Motorsports' support with the chassis. We built jigs to be able to put it together, and everything in here is hand built through CNC, laser press brake. You name it. It's got everything from machine parts on the bump stops that we custom did. We actually 3D printed these to make sure that they would work for our 2.5 Fox bump stops.
Wild.
And it's the 3D printer. We knew it fit. We went ahead and threw it to the machine shop. We made a set, and it's the small little things that take such time and intricacy, but it's worth it when you look at it and you see the fabrication. This full chassis is TIG welded. We TIG welded the whole entire thing, thanks to Ross. A huge supporter of what we did when we were building this. He welded this whole entire chassis. He's the man. Joe will tell you too. Ross is the man. This custom dash was designed by us in-house, and then we had Holly Performance hook us up with some of our gadgets. We got our large 12.5 display with 2 of our 9-inch low rances, rugged radios, comms, and intercom for clean communication throughout driver, co-driver, pit support, and even relay.
Yeah, there's a nice view at my future office. I like it.
That's it right there. That's all you, my man.
I love it.
This cab, we did a little custom, so we did our own logos. Similar to like a Gucci look, we did our logos all the way around, so it kind of gives you the feel for, a
fancy.
grounds racing.
I love it, man. Somebody's asking, is it DOM too? Like, what is it? What kind of tubing are you using for a car like that?
So this is all 4130 material. This is all chromoly chassis. The lower control arms, the upper control arms, and even our trailing arms here, these are heat treated and welded together. Miller Motorsports spec. We use FK rod ends for all of our joints on these things. They can take the beating over and over and over again. There's no internal components like a Johnny joint has bushings that can wear out, or polyurethane or neoprene inside that can wear out and cause clunking, cracking, which usually rips out a bolt, a heim, and you have some sort of failure. We have never experienced that, knock on car. We've never experienced that with any of our FK rod end products.
Awesome.
We use that from the suspension to steering. Even our sway bars have all the FK rod end heims on them. And
awesome.
The lower control arms, in the front of the car here, these are actually 2 1/4 inch DOM 250 wall slugged with 70-75 aluminum.
Damn. Yeah, man, it's spaceship technology at that point. It's crazy. So, what kind of powertrain do you have in this thing? What kind of motor is in it? What kind of power does it put out?
So this thing's a little crazy. I'm actually going to take my laptop so I can get a little closer look for you guys. So we had Klein Engines work with us on building a Mac Daddy LS7 motor. LS7s they actually don't make any longer. They discontinued the block. So this is one of its last of its breed, and we also have a spare LS7 in the event something happens.
Of course.
So it is purpose built. This is the full front of the car to where you can see everything has its position.
Wow.
From the motor to the coolant to our power steering winch, our push bar that we use frequently for what we call King of Hammers style racing, giving our friends a lovely nudge. And this, I got the hood off of it. I've been doing a little bit of work under the hood before we give it to Fox tomorrow to go test run. But all of this was hand designed, hand fabricated, put together. Eric had a lot of the mounts from Miller Motorsports, and we redesigned a few of them just to kind of fit some of our differences. Power steering. Typically, you have one power steering reservoir, in a rig.
Yeah.
What goes to your power steering pump, and then your ram. Well, for us, I don't know if you can see it, but this is our typical main reservoir. This is a secondary. And the reason why we do that is for fluid capacity. And
keeps it cooler at the end of the day, right? Like more fluid means cooler temps at the end of the day, having more.
That's it. So we use a long filter that clears our Howe ram in the front to where we can get full droop and full compression off of it without sacrificing any droop or anything like that with our suspension. But it gives us the capacity to stay cool with our power steering pump and not fatiguing that or burning a pump up.
Yeah.
I would say 40% of failures out of hammers throughout the week will be power steering related issues.
Wow. Yep. I mean, even on the trail, dude, that's also something that's very relatable to hardcore trail riding. Power steering is a huge point of failure. It's definitely something. And you guys are already not running like the typical off-the-shelf stuff that we may run. Like this is already super high-end stuff.
Right. This is, Fox Shocks makes custom quad bypass shocks for us for the front and rear. So we have 14-inch travel in the front, about 22 to 24 in the back on the trailing arms.
Wild.
And that's more than enough, for us with a straight axle. IFS, you get more travel out of that, but you sacrifice what happens in the rocks with a IFS versus a straight axle.
Absolutely.
Spider Tracks, this is a 4-inch housing. Miller Motorsports, high steer components. We have Yukon super joints inside of this. And our turning radius is over 55 degrees.
Oh, really? I know you had crazy steering angle, but like that's crazy. 55 degrees even. That's wild.
This thing turns on a dime, and it is incredible. When you sit in the driver and co-driver seat, and you can watch the tires come up, through the hood, and you can see the corners of the car and just how it dances in the rocks. It's incredible what this machine can do, and what you put it through and how it can perform.
Wild. Yeah, man. We're going to give you guys, like, once we're at the lake bed, I'm going to obviously include a walk around into the videos that we're going to put out. Like, we'll be definitely showing you guys this thing once it's all ready to race, basically, and in its prime, so to say.
Yep. One of the things, too, Marvin, you'll see, you got 2 Factor 55 soft shackles, and in the center, you have a factor 55 toe strap that's mounted in between you and I. That is so you're not going into a gear bag to get a recovery piece. You know, it's quick, it's fast, right then and there, to where you're not sifting through whether we're upside down or if we're helping somebody. It's a quick out of the car, grab it, go, and get back.
Right.
To the car.
And the strap is not just used to, like, you know, in case of worst case scenario, the car's broken down, you need a tow, but then also like Johnson Valley doesn't have many trees, so like that thing will probably be used to throw around a boulder to self-recover eventually or whatnot, because a classic tree saver, I can imagine, is just simply too small to wrap around a big boulder from time to time.
100%. And the other thing too is sometimes that rope will get sucked underneath the rock, and it became the rock god's. It is no longer ours.
Yeah.
So having spares, whether it's at another pit or in a pit box or a gear bag on the car, is super important.
Yeah.
Another thing too for speed, while I'm on the back of the car, I know it's probably a little dark. We carry a full Pro Eagle jack and an impact gun on the car. We made our own impact gun mount and our own mount for the Pro Eagle with their mounting setup. And this is so much safer and faster than a high lift jack.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I 100% agree. Like, there's no, like, there's no doubt. Plus, you can jack the car up. Like, with a high lift jacket, like, the suspension has so much droop on this car that you'll be jacking, like, your arm off before anything ever happens, if even. And yes, John's car has a license plate. Like, this thing is tagged and insured, correct?
Yeah, so this... In the state of Arizona, as long as it has taillights, brake lights, rear view mirrors, and you can use hand signals for directions, it is considered street legal.
America.
You don't need a windshield because you can wear sunglasses or eyewear, and you can run what you brung.
Oh man, take it to the mall, no problem. I love it.
That's it. I've done some ice cream runs. I've done some O'Reilly's runs.
Yeah, that's amazing.
A little look at the undercarriage. Another Spider Trax rear housing with a full backbone. We carry Willwood 6-piston brakes all the way around, 14-inch rotors. We noticed a huge stopping improvement when we switched over to the Willwoods and the larger brake rotors for this.
Yeah,
You're so much faster turns, especially short course racing. You're so much faster in knowing the capabilities that you can stop when you want it on your own dime or your own persuasion.
Yeah, you just absolutely you can just brake way later. You know what I mean? Like that's what makes you faster. If you don't have to brake, like the later you can brake, the faster you'll be at the end of the day. So same in like Nürburgring racing, whatever. Like braking makes you fast. Like good brakes will make you fast.
100%. 100%.
Awesome, man. Cool. That's definitely, yeah. And again, guys, like John is in his garage right now. We will be bringing you guys a full-on walk around on this car in its prime once we're on the lake bed. And yeah, definitely will be part of the series as well. Super, super cool. So we're reaching our hour-and-a-half limit here. So if you guys have any other questions for John, throw them in the live chat. We'll be answering them. And if not, then even afterwards, if you're watching this video after the live stream, once it's uploaded to the channel, throw your questions into the comments, and either John or I will jump on there and answer all of it. So Michael is asking gear ratio. What gear ratio are you running in a car like that?
So with the 1.5 gear ratio in the Atlas, in the axles, we're actually running a 543 with a 40-inch tire, BF Goodrich KR3, and the Dirty Life race wheels on 17-inch wheels. It's a really good combo. Our motor to the crank puts out about 850 horsepower. So with that, for us, that's more than enough. Sometimes it's not all about horsepower, but it's about being technical and driving.
Absolutely, it helps. It helps.
I mean, short course, it's all about motor and dialing that suspension. But for hammers, it's survival mode. It really is.
Yeah.
That's one thing I think a lot of the viewers and some of the enthusiasts, when they look at it and they're watching the race and they say, oh, my rig can do that. And they're probably right. The rig probably can do that trail, but then do another trail and another trail and another trail, and do that consistently for 10 hours and put your car through that and yourself through that. You get exhausted. You get fatigued.
Absolutely.
Driving, just from holding yourself in the car, you find yourself, getting fatigued and tired. And that ruins depth perception. That ruins how fast, your reactions can be. So a lot of those get affected as you're in the 8th, 10th, 11th, 12th hour,
right? And
the sun's going, and it's getting dark, and you're getting cold, and you hate me by now because we're fighting in the car. All of you, they all come back to, something that, you gotta work through.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. And for me, KOH, what makes KOH really KOH is the complete opposite between the gnarliest rocks you can imagine and the desert sections. Like even if you have a clean run through the rocks, but your drive shaft just hit one too many times and it hasn't fallen off yet, and it hasn't, like, you're completely unaware of that there's a little ding in it. Trust me, you will find out about it once you go 100 miles an hour through the desert. That thing will become loose, it will break, it will damage, and it will fall off. So the gamble of playing it safe on both terrains while still being fast is, like, that's what makes KOH in my opinion.
Well, one of the things too, Marvin, that I'll throw out there for the viewers and FlexBox and rollover supporters and Proving Gun Racing fans, during KOH race or even pre-running, what I'd like to do and what I'll end up doing after the race is, if you guys have any footage that you see me and Marvin going through, or Marvin throwing rocks at me because he's upset because I made him get out to winch, any of those items, if you see us, throw that up on your feed, send it to us. You could DM Proving Grounds or FlexRocks and Rollovers.
Absolutely.
And what I'll do is I'll throw in everyone's name into like a large raffle and maybe do like a first, second, and third for winners. And do some cool giveaways and maybe like a piece of the car with signatures from Marvin and I on it.
That's a great idea. Well, definitely, if you guys are out there on the lake bed during KOH and you get footage of us driving by, climbing something, whatever, make sure you do 16 to 9. That would be preferred. And we will be, send it to us, message us, whatever. We'll find a way to get it to us so we can use it for our video. We will credit you in the video, and we will make sure that you guys are well taken care of when it comes to a big prize at the end of it. That would help us out so much. So absolutely, please do.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea, Marvin. We'll definitely do something cool where it's a piece of history to the viewers.
Absolutely. Yeah, we will make it worth your while. There's no doubt about it. So cool, right, man. On. Like, don't mind me. I'm writing down names for the giveaway winners here to save some time at the end. So, but cool, dude. Man, this was awesome. And dude, I have no idea what this means to me to be part of this. I can't freaking wait. So I'm getting mentally prepared. I'm getting physically prepared. Like race gear, I'm on it right now, figuring out what to get and where to get it, and getting all my setup straightened out. And I'm super looking forward to spending the time on the lake bed with you, getting to know this whole entire program, understanding my responsibilities, getting good at them. You will have 100% of my attention and of my focus during that time, and I will give my absolute best to get you through the finish line and hopefully on the podium.
It's going to be awesome, Marvin. I'm excited that over the years we've been able to work together.
Me too, man.
Trailman Ellen back, KOH last year. Just all of the different adventures through BF Goodrich and all the other, items that we've been able to see each other at through the industry.
Absolutely.
This is going to be, icing on the cake for, what's to come for us. So
absolutely.
I'm excited to have you in the car with us. It's going to be a good time. We got a chef for us, so you'll have some good eats.
Have we figured that out yet? Have we? Do we have somebody at this point, or do we need to make another shout out here?
No, we are good. We're going to have Matt Medina go ahead and be our man.
Hell yeah! All right, then we'll be feasting. That'll be great. Awesome.
It'll be
cool.
good.
All right, just before you run off, we got a few more. Let's answer the last questions. Then I'm going to make the cutoff right here with questions. Every other questions, please throw it in the comment section once the video is uploaded after the live stream is over, and I will get to those here. But just to answer the last little bit, if we will be running around the lake bed with a jerry can like Terry Madden, man, I will do whatever it takes. If that's what it takes, I will absolutely do that. How many people are on your crew?
So at come race day, everybody trickles in. Come race day, we'll have over 20 people.
There you go. All right, we're gonna make this quick and dirty. 1350 U joints or 1410s?
We're using 1350.
There you go. Awesome. Why LS7 and not LSX? Is there a reason?
LS7 was a platform that was built for this car. On top of that, we made the LS7 fit our 4500 car, which it had to be a production ran motor. LSX wasn't a production ran motor inside of a vehicle at the time, and so LS7 was. So we were able to captivate that for similarities between two cars.
That's interesting. I had no idea. Okay. All right. That's good to know. Well, guys, I think that is it. That's all we're going to do at this point. Maybe we'll do another live stream right before KOH, like when it's really coming down, maybe together once I'm in Arizona and we're working side to side to get this thing done. And if we can make that happen, if not, we'll be doing, there will be plenty of video material from this whole KOH experience. So like we'll fill you guys in on all the details. I'll be geared up with GoPros throughout the entire race. I'll be covering the entire experience for you guys, and we'll make the best out of it, man. So
right on.
Virtual fist bump for you, my friend, and I'll talk to you soon, man. Thanks for coming on, spending some time with us here. All right, John? Then I'll talk to you soon, man.